Hi everyone, I'm here in Studio F and I want to show you the process on how you might do a master through the box compressor, maybe use some outboard EQ as well. So here's how you might do that. Over in Pro Tools I have my mix stereo bounce to a track, and then I have that track, its output is set to one of the box stereo ends. So it's box 1 and 2, which just happens to be the first two faders here in on the box. Then in Pro Tools I have an audio track that I have labeled as box master. The input of that will be the only option you have from the box called box program out. And what that is the stereo master here labeled on the box itself. So anything that comes through any one of these 16 channels is going to come through this program out, and then that program out, or the stereo out of the box console, can come back in to this channel here. So if I hit play, well actually before I hit play, what I'll do is I'll show you on the box some of the settings you have to set up. When I'm doing a master, I would not want to actually have the levels or the audio go through these two disparate levels here, because I might change the balance of my left and right. So really smart here on the box, you have the ability to press this 0 dB button. You'll notice that channel 1 is down here and channel 2 is right above it. So you have a 0 dB as well, and what that does is it keeps the audio from running through the fader. It just runs through those two channels at unity gain, so you don't have to worry about changing your balance. And then you have to do a pan. So right here's the pan for channel 1. I'll pan hard left, and then right above it is channel 2 hard right. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to make sure that the program button is pressed on both. So program on both, you need to choose 0 dB on both, and then you need to pan left and right. So now when I hit play inside of Pro Tools, I have some audio, and now you see we have level happening here on the API. And then you have the compressor that you'll want to turn in like such, right? Here in a moment. Yeah, you can see a little compression happening on the gain reduction meters. You want to make sure that these two buttons here, program versus channel, up is program, down is channel. So when you keep it in program, that means that compressor is compressing just right before this fader here. So this fader, if I turn this down, you'll see it'll affect that level going to that second track there. So right now, this particular audio is now leaving Pro Tools. It's going through the box channel 1 and 2, going through the compressor, and then coming back into this new track. I would start from the top and hit record, and I would then be recording that compression onto this new track inside of Pro Tools. If you wanted to insert some sort of EQ, like for example, maybe you wanted to EQ through the SSL 500 series EQs, you could do that a couple different ways. If you want to EQ before the compressor, you'd have to patch it this way. You would have to patch it as an insert in these two channels. So you'll see here you have insert here and insert here. Then over in the patch bay, hopefully you can see this okay, you've got your bus send and returns for channels 1 through 16. So these are individual inserts on each one of these 16 sends and returns. So you come out of send 1 and 2, and then I run that into an EQ, and then come out of the EQ back into the return. When I hit that insert button, it engages it, and that EQ is before this compressor. So if I hit play, I hear audio, go over to my SSL, press the in button. Hopefully you can hear that it got brighter because I added some high end here on the EQ. Then it goes into my compressor, then it goes into Pro Tools. So that gives you the ability to EQ before you get into the compressor. If you wanted to EQ after the compressor, instead of patching here at the actual track channel 1 and 2, you would instead use the main in, send and return. So I would just take this patch here, move it over to the top two here. Oops. Doesn't like that feedback. Let's try this here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to turn the inserts off here and here, and instead I'm going to choose the program insert here. So Now, when I hit play, it's going through the compressor, then through the EQ, then into Pro Tools. So just two different ways based on your signal flow of how you might want to do a master through the box.